Hello students, how are you doing? I hope you are doing great. Today we are going to study your 10th class lesson 5 from the first flight book. Name of the chapter is The 100 Dresses. This is the part 1, means this story has two parts, part 1 and 2. Part 2 we will read in 6th chapter. This is written by Al-Asor Ister. Albasor Ister. This is the story of Venda Petronsky, an American schoolgirl of Polish origin who had to quit her school because her classmates mocked at her plain appearance, describing the total reversal of her attitude. Her classmates towards Venda, the author writes about Peggy's and Maddie's feeling of guilt and repentance. The story also confirms the view that children have an impressionable mind and can be easily molded. Now let us begin the chapter. First para of the chapter. Today, Monday, Venda Petronsky was not in her seat. But nobody, not even Peggy and Madeline, the girls who started all the fun, noticed her absence. Usually, Venda sat in the seat next to the last seat in the last row in room 13. She sat in the corner of the room where the rough boys who did not make good marks sat. The corner of the room where there was more scuffling of feet, most roars of laughter when anything funny was said, and most mud and dirt on the floor. Venda did not sit there because she was rough and noisy. On the contrary, she was very quiet and rarely said anything at all. And nobody had ever heard her laugh out loud. Sometimes she twisted her mouth into a crooked sort of smile, but that was all. Scuffling of feet means noisy, dragging movements of the feet on the ground. This story revolved around a girl named Venda Petronsky and her classmates, Peggy and Madeline, who made fun of her. The plot of the story opens upon Monday. Even Peggy and Madeline did not notice that Venda was not present. These were the girls who began all the teaching. Venda generally used to sit in the corner of the classroom where the dull and loud boys sat. It was the part of the classroom which was the dirtiest, but Venda was not like those boys. Then why did she sit there? She was silent to the extent that nobody had ever seen her laugh. She was only sometimes she smiled. Nobody knew exactly why Venda sat in that seat, unless it was because she came all the way from Boggins Heights. This is the name of the place. And her feet were usually caked with dry mud. But no one really thought much about Venda Petronsky. Once she sat in the corner of the room, the time when they thought about Venda was outside of school hours. At noon time, when they were coming back to school, or in the morning early before school began, when groups of two or three or even more would be talking and laughing on their way to the schoolyard, then sometimes they waited for Venda to have fun with her. Since Venda was nothing like those boys, no one ever understood why she sat there. There were only guesses that it is because she came from Boggins Heights, because this is a place where poor people lived, and her shoes were usually dirty with all the mud. People hardly noticed her in the classroom as she was silent and alone all the time. It was only because before and after of the school hours, when groups of kids used to wait for her to make her fun, that they thought of her. Some used to wait even at the cost of getting late for school. The next day, Tuesday, Wenda was not in school either, and nobody noticed her absence again. But on Wednesday, Paddy and Maddie, who sat down front with other children who got good marks and who did not track in a whole lot of mud, did notice that Wenda was not there. Peggy was the most popular girl in school. She was pretty, she had many pretty clothes, and her hair was curly. Mary was her closest friend. The reason Peggy and Maddie noticed Wenda's absence was because Wenda had made them late to school. They had waited and waited for Wenda to have some fun with her, and she just did not come. They often waited for Wenda Petronsky to have fun with her. The fact that Wenda was not present on Tuesday as well got unnoticed, means nobody noticed her. But it was on Wednesday when Peggy and Maddie noticed her absence. It was also then when they waited before school to make fun of her, but instead ended up getting late because she did not show up. Peggy was the most famous girl who wore good and tidy clothes. She sat with the toppers of the class. No one ever got curious about why Wenda was no longer coming to school. All they cared was they couldn't make fun of her. Wenda Petronsky. Most of the children in room 13 did not have names like that. They had names easy to say, like Thomas, Smith, or Alan. There was one boy named Bounce, Willie Bounce, and people thought that was funny, but not funny in the same way that Petronsky was. Wenda was a Pole, means she was a Polish girl who had immigrated to America. Her fellow classmates thought that Wenda Petronsky was a strange name because they had simpler and easier American names, except a guy named Willie Bounce, which they thought sounded funny but still lesser than Petronsky. They found her name to be long and unfamiliar. This shows that those children did not understand diversity, and whatever they did was done out of thoughtlessness. Wenda did not have any friends. She came to school alone and went home alone. She always wore a faded blue dress that did not hang right. It was clean, but it looked as though it had never been ironed properly. She did not have any friends, but a lot of girls talked to her. Sometimes they surrounded her in the schoolyard as she stood watching the little girls play hopscotch on the worn hard ground. Did not hang right means did not fit properly. Hopscotch, it is a game in which children hop into and over squares marked on the ground. Wenda was usually seen wearing a faded blue dress that did not fit her properly. Though it was clean, it used to look unironed. This shows that when Wenda belonged to a poor family who could not afford so many dresses. Ironically, a lot of people talked to her, but she did not have any friends because all of them talked to her in order to make fun of her. From her tale, from her story about 100 dresses to her unfamiliar name, they found it all amusing. When she used to watch little girls play in the ground, it was at that time other students surrounded her to mock her. Wenda, Peggy would say in a most courteous manner, as though she were talking to Miss Mason. Wenda, she would say, giving one of her friends a nudge. Nudge means a gentle push. जैसे आप कोहनी से मारते हो, इसे इशारे करने के लिए Yes, how many dresses did you say you had hanging up in your closet? Closet means cupboard, almirah. 100, Venda would say. 100, exclaimed all the little girls incredulously. Incredulously means showing unwillingness to believe, unbelievably. And the little ones would stop playing hopscotch and listen. Yeah, 100, all lined up, said Venda. Then her thin lips drew together in silence. What are they like? All silk, I bet, said Peggy. Yeah, all silk, all colors, velvet too. Yeah, velvet too. 100 dresses. Venda would repeat stolidly. Stolidly means calm. The silent, relaxed manner in a way you can say, she repeated. All lined up in my closet, and then they would let her go. And then, before she had gone very far, they couldn't help bursting into shrieks and peals of laughter. Shrieks means scream, cry, जोर जोर से हंसना. Burst into shrieks and peals of laughter means बहुत तेज हंसी हंसना. With no intention of hurting her, Peggy used to ask the number of dresses Venda had in a very polite and respectful tone. They made fun of her because they couldn't understand why she made up that story about 100 dresses. They did all this while being ignorant of the fact that it could hurt her. No one would believe her when she said she possessed 100 dresses all lined up in her closet. As the other girls screamed in astonishment, means surprise, the little girl would stop playing in order to see that what was going on. Venda would affirm their queries that she had dresses made of velvet silk too. Suddenly, after she left, they all used to laugh at her. 100 dresses. Obviously, the only dress Venda had was the blue one she wore every day. So, why did she say she had 100? What a story. How many shoes did you say you had? 60 pairs, all lined up in my closet. Cries of exaggerated politeness greeted this, all alike. Oh no, every pair is different, all colors, all lined up. Peggy, who had thought up this game, and Maddie, her inseparable friend, were always the last to leave. Finally, Venda would move up the street, her eyes dull and her mouth closed, hitching her left shoulder every now and then in the funny way she had, finishing the walk to school alone. Exaggerated means overemphasis. Emphasize. Her eyes dull, having eyes wanting brightness. Wanting means shortage, means brightness nahi thi. Liveliness and vivacity. Uh, Let us see the explanation. It was hard to believe that what Venda said, because the only dress she was seen wearing was the blue one that was faded. No one was sure as to why she lied. Although they were teasing her, they were never rude to her. Thus, in the same tone, they continued asking her about the number of shoes she said she had to which she replied 60, each pair different. It was Peggy's idea to embarrass her like that. Though she was polite, Peggy and Maddie, the inseparable friends, were the last ones to leave the school. While Wenda would go back all alone with her dull eyes and behaved in a strange way. Peggy was not really cruel. She protected small children from bullies, and she cried for hours if she saw an animal mistreated. If anybody had said to her, "Don't you think that is a cruel way to treat Venda?" she would have been very surprised. Cruel? Why did the girl say she had 100 dresses? Anybody could tell that was a lie. Why did she want to lie? And she wasn't just an ordinary person. Else, why did she have a name like that? Anyway, they never made her cry. Bully means someone who hurts or frightens someone else. often over a period of time and forcing them to do something that they don't want to do. Mistreated means to treat someone badly. Venda Peggy was not the mean girl she had been portrayed as until now. She saved kids from whoever was hurting them and could not stand animal getting badly treated. According to her, she was not being rude to Venda. She thought it was very weird of Venda to lie because about the number of dresses and she possessed. And if anybody was weirder, it was her name. So no matter how much they teased Venda, they never made her cry. As for Maddie, his business of asking Venda every day how many dresses and how many hats and how many this and that had was bothering her. Maddie was poor herself. She usually wore somebody's hand-me-down clothes. Thank goodness she didn't live up on Boggin Heights or have a funny name. Hand me down clothes means second hand clothes, which has been worn someone else before. Maddie did not feel very comfortable teaching Venda, and when Peggy used to ask Venda those questions, she would silently count the marbles in her hand, pretending to play with them. If that dress game had not been invented, Maddie would have later known about the very existence of Venda. She felt uncomfortable not because she cared about Venda, but because she was worried she could be next. And she was also poor and she wore second hand clothes also, but it was good for her. She didn't live in Boggin Heights. Sometimes, when Peggy was asking Venda those questions in that mocking, polite voice, Maddie felt embarrassed and studied the marble in the palm of her hand, rolling them around and saying nothing herself. Note that she felt sorry for Venda. Exactly, she would never have paid any attention to Venda if Peggy hadn't invented the dress game. But suppose Peggy and all the others started in on her next. She wasn't as poor as Venda, perhaps, but she was poor. Of course, she would have more sense than to say she had 100 dresses. Still, she would not like for them to begin on her. She wished Peggy would stop teaching Venda Petronsky. Maddie did not feel comfortable teaching Venda, and then Peggy used to ask Venda those questions. She would silently count the marbles in her hand, pretending to play with them. If that dress game hadn't been invented, Maddie would have never known about the very existence of Venda. Means she did not make any fun of Venda. She felt uncomfortable not because she cared about Venda, but because she was worried she could be next. Because she was also very poor and she wore hand me down clothes. Although she was not senseless enough to say she had 100 dresses, she still wished that Peggy did not teach Venda. Means she didn't want Peggy to teach Venda, but she couldn't do anything. She was in the fear that she could be the next target of Peggy if she had interfered in that. Today, even though they had been late to school, Maddie was glad she had not had to make fun of Venda. She worked her arithmetic problems absent mindedly. 8 times 8. Let us see. She wished she had the nerve to write Peggy a note because she knew she never would have the courage to speak right up out to Peggy. to say, "Hey Peg, let us stop asking Venda how many dresses she has." When she finished her arithmetic, she did start a note to Peggy. Absent mindedly means distracted. Venda did not come that day, and after having waited for her so long, Maddie and Peggy got late for school. Maddie was secretly happy that they could not get a chance to make fun of Venda. She was lost in her own thoughts and couldn't study properly. All this time, she kept thinking about writing a note to Peggy, telling her to stop making fun of Venda, which she did write. After finishing arithmetic, she wanted to write a note because she knew she did not have the guts to say it on her face. Suddenly she paused and shuddered. She pictured herself in the schoolyard, a new target for Peggy and the girl. Peggy might ask her where she got the dress that she had on, and Maddie would have to say it was one of Peggy's old ones that Maddie's mother had tried to disguise with new trimmings so no one in room 13 would recognize it. Shuddered means shook, trembled. Disguise means to give a different appearance to conceal its to hide its identity. While writing the note to Peggy, Maddie shook at the imagination of her being a new target for Peggy and the girls. Means she was afraid that she would be the new target of for Peggy and the other girls. She was afraid that they would ask where she got that dress from, which was actually Peggy's. That dress which has been worn was Peggy's. Mary's mother got it transformed with new lace and ribbons so that none of her classmates could identify it. If only Peggy would decide of her own accord to stop having fun with Venda. Oh well, Mary ran her hand through her short blonde hair as though to push the uncomfortable thoughts away. What difference did it make? Slowly, Maddie tore into bits the notes she had started. She was Peggy's best friend, and Peggy was the best liked girl in the whole room. Peggy couldn't possibly do anything that was really wrong, she thought. She wished Peggy stopped having fun with Venda on her own. Suddenly, she ran her hand through her hair as a gesture to drive away all those thoughts. Means she wanted to drive away all the thoughts. She said to herself, Peggy is the most liked girl in the room, her best friend, and so she couldn't be wrong. Thus she tore and threw that note away. She was also afraid of losing her friend Peggy. As for Venda, she was just some girl who lived up on Boggin Heights and stood alone in the schoolyard. She scarcely ever said anything to anybody. The only time she talked was in the schoolyard about her 100 dresses. Maddie remembered her telling about one of her dress, pale blue with colored trimmings. And she remembered another that was brilliant jungle green with a red sash. You would look like a Christmas tree in that, the girls had said in pretended admiration. Admiration means praise. Scarcely means hardly, barely, rarely. Trimmings means decoration. After Maddie had cleared her thought about confessing to Peggy, she started thinking about Venda. She thought that Venda was just another girl living in Boggin Heights who hardly spoke to anybody. She remembers when Venda talked about her pale blue dress and jungle green dress paired with a red shawl. The girl made fun of her by saying that she would rather look like a Christmas tree in that dress. Thinking about Venda and her 100 dresses all lined up in the closet, Maddie began to wonder who was going to win the drawing and coloring contest. Contest means competition. For girls, this contest consisted of designing dresses, and for boys of designing motorboats. Probably means possibly Peggy would win the girls' medal. Peggy drew better than anyone else in the room. At least that is what everybody thought. She could copy a picture in a magazine or some film star's head so that you could almost tell who it was. Oh, Maddie was sure Peggy would win. Well, tomorrow the teacher was going to announce the winner. Then they would know. While thinking about Venda, Maddie began thinking about the drawing contest in which the boys had to design motorboats and girls had to design dresses. Peggy was the clear winner of that competition because she was the best artist in the room. She could copy exactly pictures and anyone could recognize that portrait. She was sure that Peggy would win and results were to be announced the next day when everyone would know what is what. The next day it was drizzling. Maddie and Peggy hurried to school under Peggy's umbrella. Naturally, on a day like this, they did not wait for Venda Petronsky. On the corner of Oliver Street. This is the name of a street. The street that far, far away, under the railroad tracks and up the hill, led to Boggins Heights. Anyway, they weren't taking chances on being late today because today was important. Drizzling means rain lightly. Hurried means quick. The day when the results were to be announced, it was raining lightly, and thus the two best friends ran quickly to school without waiting for Venda. Generally, they used to wait for her at the Oliver Street that led to Boggins Heights, the place where Venda lived, but they didn't wait that day. Even if it wasn't raining that day, they wouldn't have waited for her because the day was important as the results were to be declared. Do you think Miss Besson will announce the winners today? Asked Peggy. Oh, I hope so the minute we get in, said Maddie. Of course you will win, Peg. Hope so, said Peggy eagerly. Eagerly means curiously. The minute they entered the classroom, they stopped short and gasped. There were drawings all over the room, on every ledge and windowsill, dazzling colors. Dazzling means brightening. And brilliant, lavish design, all drawn on great sheet of wrapping paper. There must have been 100 of them, all lined up. These must be the drawings for the contest. They were. Everybody stopped and whistled or murmured admiringly. Admiringly means in a praise. Do you think gasped means catch one's breath with an open mouth? Ledge means self. Windowsill means sill forming the bottom part of a window. Dazzling means extremely impressive, beautiful, or skillful. Lavish means gorgeous. Murmured means say something in a low or distinct voice. Admiringly means in a way that shows respect or warm approval in a praise way. When the best friends entered the classroom, Peggy asked Maddie if Miss Mason would announce the result or not, to which Maddie said yes. Maddie told her that she believed Peggy would win, but to their utmost surprise when they entered the class, there were drawings all over the room, bright and brilliant. They left everyone in surprise. These were the drawings for the contest. As soon as the class had assembled, Miss Mason announced the winners. Jack Bezels had one for the boys, he said, and his design for an outboard motor was on exhibition in room 12 along with the sketches all by all the other boys. Assembled means gathered together in one place for a common purpose. Miss Mason announced the winners after everyone had settled. Among us, the boys, Jack Bezels had won. He drew an outboard motor which was displayed in room number 12 along with drawing made by other boys. As for the girls, she has said, although just one or two sketches were submitted by most, one girl and room 13 should be proud of her. This one girl actually drew 100 designs, all different and all beautiful. In the opinion of the judges, any one of the drawings is worthy of winning the prize. I am very happy to say that Venda Petronsky is the winner of girls medal. She then talked about girls' submissions, girls' drawings. She mentioned that there were one such girl who had submitted 100 designs, each so beautiful that the judges felt that any out of them was worthy of the gold medal. Miss Mason very proudly announced Venda as the winner of the competition. Unfortunately, Venda has been absent from school for some days and is not here to receive the applause that is due to her. Applause means praise, talia, clappings. Let us hope she will be back tomorrow. Now, class, you may file around the room quietly and look at her exquisite designs, drawings. The children burst into applause, and even the boys were glad to have a chance to stamp on the floor, put their fingers in their mouths, and whistle. Though they were not interested in dresses, look, Peg, whispered Maddie. There is that blue one she told us about. Isn't it beautiful? Yes, said Peggy. And there is that green one. Boy, and I thought I could draw. And let us see the explanation. She continued and sadly mentioned that Venda has not been coming since days, hoping she would be there the next day. She instructed everyone to look at the flawless collection, which everyone applauded and whistled. Mary and Peggy even saw the blue dress that Venda had talked about, and it was very beautiful. Peggy sighed, I thought I could draw, which means that the drawing left her in immense admiration. They were very surprised to see that designs. Students, this is the first part of this chapter. Second part we will read in next chapter, that is part 2. Okay, all right. I hope you all have understood. Thank you for watching the video.